Welcome to another episode of Behind the Shield. I'm your host, Gary Daemer, and I have a co-host today.
Chad Spears, Director of Security Operations. Good to be with you guys again.
There you go. Happy holiday seasons. This is about 2 weeks before the Christmas holiday, and I got my Christmas festive shirt on that I think we actually gave out a couple years ago as a gift at one of our gatherings during the Christmas holidays. We're here today, and we're going to really chat and take maybe a deeper dive into kind of our 20x phase 2 moderate approach. And we're going to have a few folks step in and talk about this a little bit as well. So, Chad, I'm going to turn it over to you to get us kick-started. Yeah. And pretty excited to see what you guys have developed.
Yeah, thanks. So, today we're going to, as Gary mentioned, we're going to dive into our FedRAMP authorized solution that we have, right? You guys have, I feel like I've done this spiel 100 times, right? XBU40 being that product, but also the tooling, a little more in depth in the tooling today, known as Command Center, that is within XBU40. As Gary mentioned, it is our FedRAMP authorized solution, but it is also what we're taking forward in the 20x moderate phase 2 approach, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit about that. But before we do that,
let me add one thing to that, if you don't
mind.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
I know. The PMO office is really looking for GRC tools and Trust Center tools. And I think what we've developed is more of a platform management tool that includes the Trust Center and includes also the GRC tooling, and then the ability to manage the overall platform and your individual accounts inside of XBU40 as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that we call out in our demos and anytime we've shown this in the past, is the fact that, XBU40 in itself it's not just a tool, but again, I want to reiterate, it's not that we're not providing a tool, and you're actually going to be seeing the tool today, right? Pretty in depth, but it's very important in understanding that we are providing that platform, and that platform is really what has allowed us to develop the tool that we're putting forward, right?
Right. And it comes pre-configured for FedRAMP moderate controls and pre-configured for FedRAMP high controls, and then we also have IL4 customers and IL5 customers. So it's a big platform, and we have that ability to automate much of that because it is a very opinionated design.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you just stated right there that maybe we don't say enough is. You mentioned that we have IL4 and IL5 customers.
Right.
Well, this is tried and true, right? So this has already been through audit. We've taken these environments through. It's proven. It works, right? And we have customers operating within these environments. So very excited to kind of show this off. But as we dive into this, we do have a very special guest with us today that we want to recognize, and it's going to be the man that's going to be behind the camera today and helping us out a little bit. But
and this is actually the first time we've attempted this. So, we have the engineer who helped develop the platform, and he's actually doing the engineering for our podcast today.
Yeah, I mean, a man of many hats.
There you go. Except he's not wearing a hat today.
He's not wearing a hat, but Alex Earhart. So, Alex, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Alex Earhart. I'm a lead SecOps engineer here at Fusion Points, and one of the lead engineers on the 20x pilot program development. I'm happy to be here.
Cool.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so Alex has been phenomenal in helping drive this forward, but not only just Alex, we've got an entire engineering team, and so shout out to that entire engineering team that's really helped drive this 20x effort. But wanted to pull Alex in because we thought that it was important to get that unique perspective of the engineers that was helping develop this. And so as we dive in today, Alex, please jump in, give us some of your some of the insights and some of the intricacies that we had to go through in the development of this. But I think
I was going to also say, if you haven't watched some of the other videos that we've done, we probably should link a few of those in here. We have our multi-account approach, a video on YouTube. We have some of our other videos that we've done demos on our 20x platform as well. So we should link those in here as well, so people could watch those as well.
Yeah, and I believe there's a podcast you and I were talking about 20x.
Oh, right.
Yep. So
right.
We've talked a little bit about our approach. We talked a little bit about some of the new stuff with Phase 2, and how we're going to approach it. You're actually now going to be seeing how we did approach it.
Correct.
So without further ado, let's dive right in. Awesome. Beautiful screen right here, right out the gate, number one. I mean, this setup here, we're diving into what's known as Command Center. All right. And again,
it is the interface really into XBU40, which is the interface into the 20X solution set as well.
Yeah. And
we have to support Rev 5 and 20X customers along with DoD customers with this development process. And we are currently supporting all three inside this platform.
You're exactly right. And so, I keep going back again to that, right? This is a platform, but we do have the tooling, right? Because one of the things that we understood very quickly when it comes to developing and engineering these solutions for our customers was it's one thing to have the platform for the customer to land on, but it's a whole other thing for them to have the tooling to then manage said platform and operate the environment. And that's exactly what Command Center allows the customer to do.
And right out the top, we have two in a dashboard. We have two of the major pieces that when we first started developing Command Center, we felt was very necessary in order to prove and demonstrate that you are operating a secure cloud. And the first one was the ticketing system.
Yeah.
And that ticketing system allowed our customers to manage their platform, to collect evidence, to be able to prove that they're doing their change management processes appropriately and stuff like that as well. But ticketing was key. We'll go into a little bit more detail in just a minute, right? And then the second one really was continuous monitoring.
Yeah.
So, all right, great, cool. You got a ticketing system. That's really helpful. But it's really the continuous monitoring piece that we developed for Rev 5. Actually developed initially for Rev 4 and then Rev 5, and now we've adjusted it to also support the new VADR standard as well.
Yep.
And continuous monitoring is vital to the way you think about maintaining your security inside of a system. It really does provide that capability to quickly identify where the vulnerabilities are, and then how do you automatically remediate those. Some of them you can automatically remediate through automatic patching.
Sure.
But then we have a whole continuous monitoring perspective as well for our customers. Then we have our Audit Shield. You want to talk a bit about Audit Shield and why that's important as well?
Yeah, definitely. So Audit Shield is pretty much all things 20X, and Audit Shield kind of was birthed from a completely different space, right?
The physical world.
Yeah, exactly. The physical world, right? So back in the day with those IL4 and IL5 traditional FedRAMP customers in that traditional process, we were providing those white glove services where we're helping customers gather those screenshots and cringing the entire time. But no, we were providing that white glove service to help them through the audit process. And we had customers that actually helped name this, whether they know it or not. Their statement was, "You guys took all the arrows for us, or you took all the hits for us," and we were like. So we were kind of like a shield, huh? So that was the conversation.
What he actually said is, I understand why your logo looks the way your logo looks, with all the dings and bangs and that logo, because you definitely put your head and shield in front of everybody.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And you have to understand the reasoning that we do that is because the customer success is our success.
Right.
And so we know that the overall goal for the customer is to get that ATO. And so that's why we wanted to provide those services. But in the newer world that we're in now, even with 20X, right, we started taking a completely different lens at this. And I say it all the time. We were 20Xing a long time ago, right? Because we said screenshots have got to go. We can automate this. We can make this so much easier. And Alex, I'm gonna ping on you right here because I know.
All right.
Yeah. So Alex comes from the SecOps world, where Alex was one of my guys that I had in the audits with the customers. And Alex, talk about that pain point just briefly on
especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because over time we developed it's pretty rinse repeat. Because we have the same solutions in place, multiple places. But at the very beginning, it was the Wild West. And then as, what if we have 2 or 3 customers in an audit at a time?
Yeah.
Which we do now.
Yeah, which we do.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be in 2 or 3 calls at the same time.
Yeah.
So we got to find a better way, which, I mean, I don't know if you remember, Chad, when we first started doing 20X, we had that document we referenced.
Yeah.
That we were kind of already going down this route where we had all those commands where we're like, okay, we have an audit. Here's what we provided in the past. Here's the commands we can run to get the output. So let's piggyback off those
The-
for 20x.
Right.
The beauty of the opinionated design,
Right.
and XBU40 in itself, right? So you heard Alex say there that, we already had these commands. Well, yeah, because I remember Gary coming to me saying, we're going to be audited the exact same way for every environment, and we're leveraging the exact same infrastructure as code. We're providing the exact same evidence. And I was like, Gary, are you telling me you want me to just put all these commands in a repository somewhere and remember them? And he said, that's exactly what I'm saying. And then he said, wrote up on the board, it's actually probably still around here somewhere, automation evidence collection, or automated evidence collection. And so that's what really birthed Audit Shield. So yeah, I mean, moving forward now in the 20x space, we now have Audit Shield, and where
And if you look at
that
the dashboard, right, that's actually two different views of it, right? So the first view is actually the view that is our system, right? So it's I can't quite read it from here, but there's KSIs and the number of checks that we have, and the percentage that were valid. The number that is that automation? Is that what that says?
Automation and live.
Okay. And what's the last one? I can't read
Live.
it. Live. Okay.
Live.
Live data, right? So we could hit the button and we can pull that data, data live. And then we actually developed the second half of this, and it's also on our public facing XBU40 site. Now this is actually ATO monitoring. So this is more of a concept than anything else at this point, but it really is to monitor other people's ATOs, right? If they make their solutions publicly available, then we can download their JSON files, ingest those into our system, and we can show right here that this is where your realm is for ATOs for your customers. So you can look at one of them and say, oh, wow, they're only 50%. What's going on here?
Yeah.
But hopefully no one gets the 50%.
Yeah, that's a bad day for a 50%. But yeah, it's that singular scoreboard, right? And really, I know, Gary, whenever you were visualizing this and explaining it to the team, and we heard machine readable and providing that output publicly, immediately I think your mind went to the agencies, and because we've had several conversations with them, right? And we understand that they've got hundreds of ATOs to manage, maintain, and keep up, and we're like, man, they need a single pane to be able to see all that in one glance. And that's where the ATO monitor really came from in that concept. We're going to continue to grow on that, and we've got some pretty cool ideas, I think, that'll come from that. But it goes to show this whole FedRAMP 20x process and the power behind it of providing that machine readable output and kind of automating all of this. So yeah, there we have Audit Shield. And we'll dive probably a little bit deeper into that and show some of the KSIs as well. Moving on down, we've got another one over here on the left side. I'm going to stay on the left, is System Security Plan Overview. And this was one that if we had to rank it in order, right, we heard ticketing. We heard Gary talk about that, and then we heard CommOn. I'd say the SSP management was probably number 3 in the birth of Command Center from a problem set, right? We're trying to solve problems for the customers. And so, hey, the management and maintaining of the SSP, 1,000-page document or whatever it may be, we needed a solution that will allow the customers to go in and provide those changes, provide those updates, review the changes, review the updates, but not only that, track all that, and provide some type of output on who's making changes, when they're making changes, and how complete it is.
Yeah, how complete. There you go.
How complete it is throughout the environment. And so, what you're seeing right here is actual representation of a live SSP there from the system.
In a demo.
Well, demo world. We all know that. But what I'm saying is this is not, I mean, this is referencing a document that is living.
Is it a document?
Well, yeah, I guess document's a byword now.
Yeah.
It is a living system.
It's a database, basically, right? It's a database that can produce machine-readable language for SSPs. Can produce it in a JSON format or XML format or whatever format we need to have for the specific customer. Everything that we do, even though we might call it a document, it really isn't a document. It really is a field in a database. It just happens to be in our document module.
Yep.
That's the thing, right? So we want to make sure that, and as we show this, and we're going to dive deeper into each of the sections, and then what we'll do is we'll create an individual podcast where we'll go deeper into each of the areas as well.
Yeah. And that's a great segue. So let me ask you this, right? Somebody contacts you and says, hey, provide me a copy of your SSP. Are you going to pull that out of your JSON database?
You're not.
Or you're not, right?
Right.
That leads us over to the right-hand side where we're at now.
And I know 20X is not leaning toward SSPs or appendices or anything like that, but we still support 99% of our customers today, well, let me rephrase that. 100% of our customers today are Rev 5 or DoD customers. Right? Because, 20X truly isn't available to the public yet.
Yes.
But so we have to maintain these SSPs for another couple years at least, and then the DoD hasn't quite followed this pace yet. So we still have to maintain this module for our customers.
Yes.
Even though we call it a document, because it can produce a document.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a document.
Right.
I wanted to give some insight from an engineer perspective. It makes it 20 times easier, pun intended for 20X.
Right.
20 times easier to be able to kind of segment and break out the sections of the SSP, because I mean that document together is
It was impossible.
gigantic,
right?
So it actually lets us be like, okay, I only need this section for this evidence,
Right.
so let me just pull this section rather than pull the entire SSP.
Right.
Provide that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great insight there. But again, going back to it, we're not just talking SSP here too, right? There's other documents, and I don't even want to use the word documents. There's other things.
Well, we do have the document repository because in today's world, which we got to support both, right?
Yep.
We have documents that need to be produced for evidence for our audits that we're currently doing. So we built a document vault that we can store evidence for audits and other items as well. Because if we produce an SSP, we want to have record that we produced that SSP and when and who did you share it out to. And the document vault ties very closely to our trust center in 20X as well.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, right? We've seen the error of the way working with so many organizations and being so involved in FedRAMP early on, right? You would have these documents that would get shared out via all different manners, right? And so we were like, we need somewhere secure for this information to live.
The one thing I am extremely happy to hear is they took the controlled unclassified information off the front end of the SSP. That did make me happy. Yeah, because it did make it even tougher to kind of share as well. Because what did it really mean inside of the civil sector? Even though that it's a broad definition, we want to make sure that now that it's no longer on the templates anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, document repository. And then moving on down, hey, something that's always near and dear to my heart and Alex as well, coming from the SecOps side. Yeah.
Your heart and their heart.
Yeah. There you go. But we've got this live threat feed and then the cybersecurity newsroom, right? And we're pulling these feeds directly from US CERT, CISA, all the well-known trusted sources, number one, but then also when you have to report up some type of IR, right? We're pulling directly from their feeds as well. This is really just a one-stop shop to be able to come here and quickly glance and see, okay, hey, what CVEs are out there? How do they match up to our environments? But then the security news, we continually tell our analysts, hey, stay up to date with the latest threats and the latest news that's out there. So not only does this allow the analysts or the operators within the environment to do that, but it allows the executives to kind of see what's going on in the world as well. And that's one of the things that we didn't really touch on, but this whole dashboard view here was really with the executive in mind, right?
Yep.
Being able to come into the system and quickly see all the data that they need to see in one pane of glass without having to jump into the modules. Now, they can definitely do that, and we're going to be doing that as we go through. So, Alex, let's jump into the ticketing module. So I think ticketing module, as we jump in, the first thing we're going to come to the all tickets here. And really when we started reviewing this, we needed a ticketing solution that fit FedRAMP. And when you started looking at it as a whole, there was a lot of solutions out there, but did they provide too much or not enough from a solution set? Did they really meet the FedRAMP requirements in collecting data, right? And so what we decided was, hey, we're going to build our own. And so from this view here, you can see all the tickets, right? It's, just a simple place for us to come and search for open tickets and things of that nature. We can filter off severity and the status of the ticket and who it's assigned to and all those good things. But more than anything, what was important for us is the ticket types. And so as we drive over to the actual creation of the tickets, when we go into create a ticket, you'll notice all these ticket types. And so I believe we've got about 8 ticket types, and then there'll be sub-ticket types as well. So Alex, go ahead and pick one. It doesn't matter. So we go a problem ticket here. And we know right out the gate, we can see vulnerability tracking, contingency response, IR, general ticket, or bug report, right? Creating these ticket types, number one, mapping it back to the FedRAMP compliance and FedRAMP controls but it allowed us to gather the actual data that was needed to maintain and operate this FedRAMP environment. And so, Alex, I know you being in the SecOps world, how beneficial this was, but also let's talk about how this ticketing solution here plays into 20x now and the data that we're pulling in to meet some of the KSIs.
Yeah, so a lot of the information that we used to pull from documents back in the day are actually documented in tickets themselves. So like when you do, let's do IR tests, for example, like when you conduct an incident response test, how do you document you did one of those? Well, you create a ticket, be like, hey, we did the test this day. Here's the recording. Here's who was involved. Here's the after actions report.
Yeah.
And then that becomes your evidence to prove you're doing X, Y, Z.
Cool.
That's right. Yep.
What about so I noticed that we have change requests. So before we go back to ticket type again,
Yep.
if you don't mind, I don't see significant change in there.
It is inside change request. So if you go in here,
I knew that.
Any
That's the
of these-
reason.
pick any of these at the very bottom, you classify significant change or not. And
Okay.
then if you say yes,
Oh, you mean we can actually select what kind it is? So
yeah.
show me how that works.
Yeah, so at the very bottom on a change ticket.
And how did you know to do it this way? I'm just curious.
Curious? Well,
Did you read it from a standard?
I might have helped develop it.
Well, no, I meant that. Did you read it from a standard? That drove you?
Oh yeah, there's this new little KSI called AFR. I believe it's 03 or 4 that is all about significant changes.
There you go. And this follows those rules. It
sure
is that
does.
right?
Spoiler alert, phase 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, looking at the ticket type or ticketing module overall,
And we use a ticket type a lot in the KSIs, correct?
Yeah.
So it's built in, so you don't have to worry about what ticketing system that you are going to try to integrate your KSIs into, because it's here already for you, and it's very easy to go from a KSI to use an API
yes,
to query our ticketing system to pull the information out of that
exactly
we
how
need,
we do it.
right?
Each field here has a number assigned to it.
Yep.
We just query that value,
There you go.
and then boom.
Yeah. And is that automatic? Would you consider that automatic?
Oh, it is very automatic. Runs on a schedule, Gary.
There you go.
awesome. So where do we want to pivot to next? Let's
So what we'll do eventually, and I don't know when the eventually is, but we're going to ultimately do, maybe a detailed video of the ticketing system, but not today. We just give a high level one.
overview. And
Yeah,
then
brief overview. Let's go. What's the next module? Let's just go into the next module.
love it.
To be continuous monitoring.
Oh,
So the real question is, do we go straight to continuous monitoring or straight into VDR?
Well, let's go into just real quick into Rev 5, right, and how we currently support our customers with Rev 5, and then let's jump into how we're also going to support those same customers if they do 20x as well.
yeah. So right out the gate, jumping into Common again, another pillar of the birth of Command Center. I need to say that and reiterate that, right? So we can see the active vulnerabilities here. You can see the remediation status, but then the historical vulnerability count. And I remember coming on to infusion points very early on, and man, where this thing's evolved from what we had traditionally in the past is amazing. And
We
so
used a spreadsheet.
easy, yeah.
Combine
Spreadsheet.
outputs into a
But now we
single
had scripts.
spreadsheet.
We had automated scripts,
Yeah.
right? We had automated scripts that would take the outputs and then do all the calculations.
Still
for
very. Someone had to run that script
Yes.
once they got the outputs. So.
a human was definitely involved.
I remember those days of the Python script pulling out all the vulnerabilities from Nessus and merging them all, and just man, we've come so far.
Yeah,
but
the correlation of deduplication and all that. Yeah, no, this automatic stuff is really cool.
leaps and bounds. And so, hey, automatically, right? We're leveraging solutions like Inspector that are built in, Nessus, things of that nature, right? It'll all pull it into one single location for us here. Very quickly, we can see the active vulnerabilities with the environment, the remediation status, this being important, right? For closing those vulnerabilities out. We do that automatically within the environment as well with our patch windows or maintenance windows within the XBU40 environment.
Open and close tickets at the same time automatically. You have a human in the room for that.
Every time a vulnerability is flagged, an angel gets his or another ticket is another
ticket gets its
created.
wings.
Yeah, a ticket gets its wings. It flies into the ticketing system.
Right.
Hey, but that goes back to all documenting this and tracking all the changes within the environment.
Yep.
You can also see the historical vulnerability count from there. And then what's great about this is hey, we all got all the pretty colors, but FedRAMP requires something called a POA&M there. And so we can jump into the POA&M there, and all that stuff is then pulled over into a plan of action and milestone for us as well. leveraging that FedRAMP format. And so this is automatically created for our customers as well.
And then we can export that out. That is a manual thing, right?
Yep.
Or do we do that automatically? I don't know if we do that automatically.
I believe it's manual, but automatically goes to S3. So
Okay.
you can kind of say either way.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, there's always an updated copy of the POA&M there that the customer can pull down, do what they wish will. But here within the POA&M itself, we can see all the vulnerabilities. Has the ability. I really love the ability to kind of filter off of the CVE, and we even have the ability to kind of dive in here and kind of look and see what assets there may be. Also, as well, notice we got some deviations over there. So if there's a deviation request that needs to go in,
Right. I forgot about those.
yeah, well, we can track those directly.
Whether
in there.
operational requirement or a false positive analysis or something like that.
Exactly.
We have some screens that will be able to allow you to enter that analysis in there as well.
Yep, exactly. So really powerful tool here. Again, this was one that's when it came to when it came down to managing and maintaining these FedRAMP environments, we knew that this was a must.
Yes.
Especially as we scaled here in Infusion Points.
And we are finding that some of the larger places that we work with are the number of vulnerabilities. It can be hard, right? So building customized solutions to aid them in what they need as well has been very helpful. So this is very customizable as well. So
yeah, very much so. And then from this, you go ahead and click into the deviations there. Let's just, we mentioned it real quickly. We'll show it there. Yeah, so if there's deviations, has the ability for us to throw them in here and document all that directly within that.
We don't have many deviations.
Yeah, we got one.
Since a
demo
of it.
Yeah, but and so then the next one here, this we're going to jump in and let Alex talk a little bit, right? So the whole mindset had to shift a little bit.
I like the other word you used. That was much better.
Caitlin, edit that out.
No, don't. That was great.
But the mindset had to shift a little bit when it comes to Common into vulnerability detection and response, also known as Vader. I like Vader.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm not sure if did we coin that.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think that was the FedRAMP PMO coined it.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I like to say that we coined it. But
Yeah.
when the team got a hold of these new requirements, man, the vulnerability in detection and even the whole Common aspect in itself really started taking on a completely new look. And so, Alex, talk with us about how you guys approached this and kind of the shift there.
I want to start out with Gary. How many days did we spend reading the requirements for Vader before we finally thought we got it?
A lot.
A lot.
And how many times did we write on the whiteboard and then erase it and then write it on the
every time we read
whiteboard?
it, we thought
And I don't
something was
remember who finally came up to me and said, "Gary, it's really not that hard. It's just an if loop." I don't remember who. I don't know if it was Nick or
I think it was Wade, actually.
It was Wade.
Yeah, I think it was Wade.
Okay, yeah. Wade was like, "Gary, this is not that hard if you just do an if statement."
Yeah, and I think our biggest problem, like engineering wise, was we already had a solution for Conmon for POAMs, and it was hard for us to get our brain out of what we already had,
Right.
and look at just like a blank slate. And so I think we were trying too much to take what we already had.
We were trying to fit it into
We were
that.
trying to fit our existing
Yes.
code into this new requirement, which just wasn't the thing. It's
Right.
totally separate. Like the biggest difference off the top of my head is the other screen you might have saw it was deduped.
Deduped.
And
What do you mean we ain't gonna dedupe this thing?
yeah. So
wait. We're not gonna dedupe it?
no, and you mentioned it earlier that some of these customers have insane vulnerability counts, which
Right.
imagine, if you're deduping, because a lot of machines, like all my Windows machines, are going to have the same vulnerabilities across
Right.
the board, mostly. And so having to track each vulnerability independently of the CVE. Because the CVE is the same for these two machines, but you got to track them differently because it's an if loop, like you
Right.
mentioned, Gary.
Right.
Is it publicly exploitable?
Right.
Is it, is it public facing or
Right.
is it exploitable?
Right.
If those two things are true, it changes the severity completely.
Yes.
If only one is true, it changes it completely. As you kind of see on this, our little table up here, it's kind of our method behind the madness, if you could say. So is it Kev, which now they call it Lev, because
Right. Because
for
we
fun.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to do something.
is it internet reachable? So
Right.
a quick overview, you can kind of see if this column is true, then it falls into N4. If it's N4, then there's a set number of days you have to remediate it in.
Right.
So it's if this is true, if not else, default to these number of days to
Yep.
remediate.
Which is, to me, it makes it so much easier. To
It
think
does.
about it,
And I think we even said to ourselves that day we figured it out, like, how did it take us this long to figure out simple math?
I got a few bruises on my forehead from that. No, but it definitely did make it easier. And I think we've actually improved the interface a bit too, because right on each of the CVEs now, by assets as well. We have the CVE right there, and then we also have the date that it has to be fixed by, as well.
I love the timestamp there. First observed. That's awesome there.
That's the beauty of using AWS native tools.
Right.
It does all the hard work for us.
It does. Yep. All you do is pull that metadata out, right?
Yeah. We just got, hey, they're doing it. Let's just
set it up and configure it correctly, and then feed the data to the right location and put a beautiful front end interface on it, and you have machine readable and human readable at the exact same time.
And they spend all the time engineering it. We don't have to re-engineer it for them. You know?
Right. Exactly. leverage. So and we'll go in deeper into this maybe in a future podcast as well. But let's get to the next one as well then.
Yep. Oh, looks like we're going to be good. Yeah, we'll hit it real quickly. Go ahead.
I hit it. I was wondering why that was actually on the dashboard. But maybe it's because it's
alert management. So SecOps at heart here, right? Overall security of the environment. So from the alert management dashboard here, we integrate with SIM technology, also endpoint detection solutions that are out there within the environment. All of the alerts that the security operations team and our analysts that operate 365, 24/7, they're monitoring them directly from here. So each environment, those alerts are being fielded directly from here, and they automatically create a ticket as they come in, where everything's then documented. And so again, demo environment here, we're not seeing any.
And then it also keeps a trend line of mean time to response to it.
Mean time to response, mean time to close, all of the important metrics that you would gather for a security operations center are right here for us and visible. And
we actually use this now like kind of across the board for all of our customers, right?
That is correct.
All the Red 5, even our commercial customers as well, this dashboard, because it actually allowed us to kind of use this as a collection tool, right, for multiple SIM tools that we manage. Because I know in the beginning days, I used to bring you customers that would say, "Hey, I want to use Splunk." Look at that face. Did you see his face just?
I told Gary, I was like, "We can only put so many screens on the wall, Gary."
Can we do Alert Logic? Can we do Tenable? Did you know Tenable had a SIM at one time?
Yeah, no doubt.
And Alien Vault and Level Blue and Graylog, and
I believe you denoted it as BYOS. Bring your own SIM is what you stated.
We had quite a few. So, but each one of them, you can get a great API interface into it, and then you can grab those alerts. We build the alerts. The alerts are pretty much the same in every single SIM. They're just a little bit different language in each one of those. I'm gonna let you dismiss that.
Weekly reminder, Command Center. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so you're exactly right. The API integrations, if there's an API integration, we can integrate with it. And pretty much all security tooling out there nowadays is going to have an API integration where we can pull those in. So again,
since it's most of these FedRAMP systems, we don't report any metadata that's going to really, it's other than say, hey, you know what, you might want to go check out.
That's honestly one of the struggles we had before we had our own ticketing system, right? Is like, how can we guarantee the mechanisms we have in place aren't going to share that metadata?
Right.
Because if you're using some third-party ticketing system, you got to be really careful how you set up those APIs, because it could just randomly just pull in something.
And since we have full control of both sides.
Full control, but since we have full control, we can guarantee what goes in and what doesn't come out.
Yep. Love it. Awesome. Let's jump into the next module.
Repository.
Doc repo.
Now, Doc repo is actually a Doc repo.
It is.
And we actually developed it for evidence collection because we have customers who have to still do screenshots. Yeah, and we still have to collect them and upload them and all that fun stuff. So this is what this was the main reason why we developed it. But then we also started using it for where we put our system security plans. This is also where we put log information for our customers who need to share that log information with others as well. It really is a central repository for sharing data out, right? Okay.
No, I was going to say it quickly morphed into that trust center. Right,
yes,
for us.
It did.
And it went outside of just a place to store documents. It was really the place to securely share documents and evidence.
But even though this still helps us with our trust center, right? This is kind of like the front end interface to the private side, because even in the private side, that in that trust center, they don't see all these documents that you have.
Right.
The customers will only see what you actually put into that folder on the private side for sharing with their customers.
Yeah,
as
I mean,
well.
role-based access control still applies,
Right.
least privilege access, and you have the ability to be very granular as to what you share out and what you don't share out and who you share it out with. And
Right.
so yeah, Docker repository, and then we also have the vault management there as well, piece within the Docker repository. So, all right, jumping into the next one here. Oh yes, system security plan.
We actually moved the system security plan module out of the Docker repository.
Yes.
And the reason why we did that is because it was confusing people on, well, is it really a document or is it not a document?
Yeah.
Not to repeat that again. but I'm
Well,
gonna read-
great comment, because we quickly seen, and I'm gonna run this rabbit if that's all right. I mean, we've even had conversations now, even with this new approach with the KSIs, and being able to get a full detailed view, if you will, of the environments in a live fashion, right? Like the SSP in itself and our SSP module even can become even more live, right?
Right.
And so the ability for our module here to kind of even run side by side with the KSIs to validate that, hey, what you're documenting in the SSP or what's living in the SSP is actually what's actually running in the environment, vice versa. So we can actually jump in. Let's jump into one of the SSPs here into this demo environment and open up one of them. So from here, it's going to give you the ability to kind of see that overall status, right? We talked about the completion of the SSP. How complete is it? You can see the implementation status and the control breakdown. You're seeing some of the old control language there. Not the KSI language, but that's all right. Again, we have IL4, IL5 customers that are leveraging this, but then the recent changes as well, like who's actually changing those.
But we're also leveraging this for our 20x as well. Like system info, as an example, is where we put a lot of stuff. I'm not sure where we are with the development of this yet, and but in here we have multiple bits of information that's required for. It's just standard information that you would have, like what's your FedRAMP package number, what's your system name, who's your sponsor, all that kind of information would go in this front end interface, which then puts it into a back end database, which then can produce your system info in a machine
readable format.
right?
Yeah.
Which makes it way easier to engineer.
Yes, much easier than inside of a SSP document that you have a hard time getting that information out of. Right there it is. We can have multiple SSPs in here. That means multiple system information ones. So you could manage multiple systems at the exact same time as well. So
yeah, exactly. And across the top there, you can see as well system users, organizational information, and then there's the template variables, right, and how this thing is all brought together. So SSP modules is really powerful, really important to the way that the organization itself or the users are maintaining the environment, right, and ensuring that this is kept up to date.
And here again, I know, and the SSPs aren't required.
They're not.
Or any of the appendix are required for 20X. But the majority of our business today still supports Rev 5 and DoD. So we have to continue to support that. And we're going to leverage this module to be able to pull that information from.
Right.
Now, it might morph over time.
Sure.
As SSPs are deprecated as requirements and more things are 20X. But for the most part, we have to be able to maintain both. So, and the way we're trying to do it is to be able to merge the best of both worlds with the customer.
Yeah, and the beauty is with that as well, right? We're starting to even hear some of our current customers, IL4, IL5, right? The traditional FedRAMP approach. We're starting to hear them ask questions about 20X, right? And so there's the good of that, right? That people are starting to take notice that, hey, there's this newer way that's coming, and we're trying to help them understand it and grasp it and move forward.
So what happens today if I have my own SSP in DocX format? What can I do with it?
Well, we can actually just import it directly into.
We can ingest it?
So yeah, we not only ingest it, but then it'll be put into that beautiful table and database
it'll be machine readable.
Machine readable at that point,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah, and so that it's a great point. So this isn't just we're going to create the SSP directly from this module. No, if you already have an existing SSP, we'll pull it directly in and give it to you in this output right here, where you can then manage, maintain it, and keep it up to date. And we've fielded that question before as well. Well, I've already spent all the legwork to generate this SSP. Don't tell me I've got to, just throw all this away. Well, absolutely not. We'll pull it in for you, and it variabilizes all of it for you. And we now can engineer around that, and you can operate the environment directly from here.
There you go.
So,
Like it.
All right. What we got next?
Well.
Look at here. I take pride in the Audit Shield KSIs. This is I'm telling you, it brings a tear to my eye every time I see it.
It definitely makes me cry.
So yeah, KSI indicators, right? Audit Shield. Again, talked a little bit about the backstory of Audit Shield, and it's more of happy tears for me because we don't have to take screenshots anymore. But the thing is from this quick glance view right here, total KSIs.
Screenshots continue to smack us in the face, don't they?
Yeah, imagine that. That's why we're doing this one live here.
Right,
live demo. Total KSIs, we got 11 of them, but then, hey, KSI families are great. Talk about the validation of each KSI. There's 150 validations that are happening right here. Alex, tell me, there's phase 2 stuff into this right here as well. We've been
You're looking right at it.
I love it. So
AFR.
There we go. So AFR, phase 2 stuff, success rate, 97% of those have passed the validation. So, hey, why is that not 100%? Well, we wanted to prove as well that we're not just showing you all green. And that's one of the things, even working with our auditor, right, in this, we showed throughout the process that, yes, hey, if something's not being met, it will fall off, if you will.
And we actually do have a trend line as well for that as well. I don't know if it's in here or if it's in a trust.
It's on Trust Center.
It's on the Trust Center side too, right? And you can show all the way back in history for how long that's been going on. I don't know how long we've been doing our demo.
I think it's probably maybe a month we've had that.
Yeah, ever since we saw the requirement and we saw we had to have a Trust Center, we started publishing that particular piece of JSON out. And then every day, I think we do it every day.
Yep. It's when they run every night.
Okay, every night. So every
backs
night.
up, runs.
Right.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah. So again, success rate, automation. Hey, 100% automated. This.
What does that mean though? When you say 100% automated, what does that mean?
So we are well. Why am I speaking about that? Let's let the engineer speak about that.
So no manual input needed whatsoever. So like I just mentioned, every night, all these kick off. So it's all done in AWS Lambda. So we have Lambdas that go out, and we can just show you one here while we're here. For example, API. We have code in our Lambda that goes out, runs this command right here against all these assets up here, and gives us an output. And then we have logic inside our code that determines, hey, what's the pass-fail criteria here? What is the important information in this output that we need to check? In this instance, this one's pretty simple. Some of them get pretty complex, but this one's, hey, is the work AWS is already doing to capture this data for us?
Is it doing its job?
Here is, Gary. Look at that. So some logic's pretty simple, and a lot of it is pretty easy for us because we already have that infrastructure as code you guys were talking about earlier, right?
We've already pre-configured. We've already pre-configured it to meet
all these audits before. We already had all those commands before. We already know what to look for. I want to say 97% of these, right? It's the brand new heavy hitters, like the new SCN changes, the VDR, the ones that make you change your mindset, and not like, hey, do you have FIPS on? Yes or no?
Right. Yeah, that's pretty easy to check.
Pretty easy to check, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So one thing I'm hearing there, Alex, is we're leveraging native tooling, which is very important in our approach with Audit Shield. I think Gary's actual statement to us was, the data is already there, just pull the data, right? And leveraging things like AWS config from the environments, it tells the full story. There's nothing that can be hidden, right? And not that we would ever hide anything anyway, but it gives a full picture. It doesn't allow anything to be swept under the rug, based off of the asset inventory that's pulled from the environment as well. Here's everything that's running. Here's all the services. Here's all the instances that are running. And now, guess what? When you run that command from config, it's not going to exclude any assets there. And I love the fact that you guys have provided the command because it allows the auditor that, hey, if I want to double check that, I can just simply run that command as well and check the output from that. So So yeah,
And I know I'm looking right at this thing, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but some of those still say document, right?
They do.
So what does that mean? Does that mean document, or does that mean that came out of the document module? I'm curious on
That
those.
came out of the document module.
So that's an API call into that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
I
just want to make sure.
That's where some of the confusion has been in the past.
Yes.
Is you see this, you're like, oh, that's just a document.
Right.
But in reality, that's just how we're classifying it, right?
Right.
Right. Because that's in our engineer brains, we're like, okay, we have to differentiate these in one form or fashion, right?
Right.
So for API, that's all of our AWS commands document, even though it's still AWS because.
And we are changing the names of most of those, right,
Yes.
to be API as opposed to that actually is coming out of the document module. We were trying to get very specific about where it was coming from inside the command
Technically,
center.
everything we're doing is an API.
Everything that we're doing is an
Because
API.
everything's stored in databases.
Yes.
How do you get to those databases?
Yes.
Well, you run
Through an
AWS API command
Exactly.
to go retrieve the data.
Yep.
So
Yep.
love it.
just how we name them.
There you go.
Beautiful. Let's go back to the overall overview one more time. Yeah, the last one over there is the live, right? And I know, Alex, I've heard you mention, hey, these are all running every night, but we do have the ability for these things to run live. But I love the fact we have to be careful with that, right? You can almost DDoS your entire environment
Right.
if you're not
that's
careful.
Something we've been thinking a lot in the engineering room back here is, we don't. This isn't just a pilot program right now, but in the future, it's going to be hopefully used in every one of our environments, right?
Right.
So how do we limit the access or the
Yes.
someone just spamming the button 20 times because they're impatient? Because I'm be honest, as you see, 150 validations, that's going to take a while to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes what, 5 to 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 at most?
So
Some of them?
we have 11. I think the longest one is 4 minutes.
Okay.
So
Yep.
So less than 5 overall.
yeah.
4 minutes and I press the button 100 times. Let's do the math on that, right?
Right.
So,
Because you can invoke a Lambda as many times as you want. It'll go through.
Right.
and AWS will charge you as
They
many
sure
times
will.
as you want.
They will.
Sure will. So
It'll run it every time you press it. So.
that's something we're definitely going to have a solid plan on before, full release.
Right.
Yep. But again, yeah. So the ability to pull this data live, and as you stated, I mean, when I look at that, hey, for 100% live, well, you're exactly right, because the data is already there, as already mentioned. So the data is live. It is what's running in the environment. So,
Right.
So yeah, and then we've already kind of jived.
If you don't mind, just scroll down all the way through all of the KSIs, and just randomly pick another one. I don't care which one you pick, but you can just see that there they all are, API. They're going against the AWS VPC. And how do we know that it's like all the VPCs? How do we know that?
It's funny. Our command just runs a get,
Right?
and then whatever it returns in that get, it just runs the command.
So
for
it looks
each
in the
one.
environment at the real time live.
Yeah. So like, we're gonna list all VPC IDs,
Right.
And then we're gonna run a command, whatever we're checking for that
Yep.
VPC against every single one of those IDs. So that way, nothing can hide.
Right. There you go.
Even if we don't know it's there, it's gonna show up.
Right. There you go. Oops.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, think I go back to my olden days in IT. Think of how many, and even in our the security realm now, Alex. How many times have we fielded incident responses where it was a misconfiguration or something that an administrator
Right.
did, where they were testing something and they left it in there and forgot about it, and then
I'd say it's probably half coupled that with phishing, and then it's like, oh, this service account that we made to test the phone system 8
Right.
months ago, we never deleted. We made it full admin. I'm like, well, did it have
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's usually most of it. It's
Yeah.
not because somebody is just doing poor security across the board. It's, oh, I forgot to turn this off during testing.
Yeah.
Whatever you have.
yeah. So I mean, there's huge benefits to
In a pre-configured environment, that doesn't happen, does
That's the
it?
benefit of infrastructure as code right there.
There you go.
yeah, but the ability for nothing to hide, I love it.
Right.
So awesome. So let's jump back. What else we got within Audit Shield itself? Is there anything? Again, we touched on all those across the board, across the top there. What about the other modules within Audit Shield in itself? I think we got all KSI checks across the top. Let's jump into that FedRAMP 20x ATO monitoring. We talked a little bit about that, but this is very important. Talking about that machine readable output and making that public, providing that scorecard. So as you can see here, all those
Now,
KSI.
this is against the FedRAMP low, right?
Yes,
Because that's
correct.
that's the only thing that we have public today.
The public
right?
data that
Yeah.
everyone put out for
Yeah.
FedRAMP.
So this means we can integrate with other GRC tools fairly simplistically.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
long as it's what, Gary?
What's that?
As long as it's what?
I don't know.
Machine readable.
Machine readable. There you go.
There you go.
got him.
Oops.
but yeah, so that's one of the benefits of providing this whole new kind of approach. And you remember phase one, right? That was kind of it was an unspoken thing. It was kind of an unspoken mandate, but hey, this has got to be machine readable output. And now we're seeing the benefit of it. As soon as that came out,
I don't think it was unspoken.
Yeah, well,
I think it was very in plain text, maybe in bold even.
It probably bold.
Yeah.
yeah.
At least 10 times on the requirement page.
But the fact is like we seen that and we're like, man, that in itself changes everything. And you remember going back and forth where we're like, what does our JSON output need to look like? What's the structure need to be? Well, it doesn't matter as long as it's JSON. We can, very easily pull it out into this format here to provide you that,
And it could just as easily be in YAML, but we just like JSON.
Yeah.
Some people like JSON, some people like YAML. I'm old school, so I like JSON.
Tomato.
There you go.
It's machine readable at that point. But we provide the scorecard here, right? So imagine an agency having multiple ATOs. It allows them to come in here from the scorecard view and see who's might be on the naughty list. It's the holiday season. Might as well use that.
There you go, red and green, right?
Yeah, red, green.
I don't think we have yellow, right?
We don't have yellow because you're either passing or you're failing.
There you go.
But more than anything, right, I think another thing that's important about this is we know organizations, when audit season comes up or audit time comes up, man, they start scrambling, right? But this allows them in that singular view and very quickly to be like, okay, hey, you're kind of falling behind the 8 ball a little bit here. You need to be working the environment. And it ensures compliance and security throughout the life cycle.
Something that I said, and I don't know when this podcast is going to go out, but something I said in this last Tuesday podcast that was released with Christian Bear, I think is vital to the thought process here. Like we talked about CDM and continuous diagnosis and mitigation, right? It's a program run out of DHS, and they wanted to see every vulnerability that was going on inside of the federal government. And then they were going to use this nice tool to kind of filter it all through. The problem is when you get too much data, you might as well not be getting any data because no matter how big your horsepower of your systems are, you're not going to be able to comb through it all. And you're not going to be able to say what the real value of that specific vulnerability is inside of a specific system. Right. So we've got to be able to, kind of filter it in a hierarchy perspective and then show the stuff that matters. So executives, people who have to make decisions, don't have to worry about an individual vulnerability. They have to understand what the security posture is of that specific system. That really is the philosophy that we need. We don't need ISOs or CISOs looking at vulnerability, CVE, I don't know, give me a CVE that just came out, unless it's a known exploit that's going on right now.
Sure.
And then you need to be asking your people whose systems that you manage, do you have that in your system, and what are you doing about it? Right. And that's why the inventory is important as well. But you should not have to know that information. It should be in a system that you can go query and get the information. But if you get inundated by too much data, you must not have any data.
Kind of brings me back, Chad, to the way we log, right?
Right. It's exact.
If we have every single log that all the machines put out, it's going to blow us up.
Right.
We're going to miss what's really important in those logs, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
Same concept.
Yeah, it's exact same concept. It's exact same scale, right? You imagine monitoring and managing the entire government, for all the vulnerabilities or all the log management. I mean, it's impossible. They can't do it. It's impossible. That's why you got to have, kind of a hierarchy of systems that, if you think about it from a true system engineering perspective, system thinking perspective, understand what's coming in, what's going out, and be able to look at it from a broader perspective. It'll allow you to make better decisions quicker than being lost in the overall details sometimes. I know I was on my soapbox. I should get off.
No, stay on that soapbox. I like it.
But I think that's why these kind of dashboards are very important, as long as there's real data behind it, right? And I know you showed just a minute ago in our KSIs that there's real evidence behind ours, and there's real evidence behind our vulnerability management tool, which actually does work today and it is functioning today. We can start using it in a live system. Matter of fact, we're going to start integrating some of those new requirements into the Kanban POA&M process because they're due here any day now to start leverage, at least the beginning of next year. I don't know the exact date,
and just to get our team familiar with the new processes.
Yes,
because we talk about 20x a bunch, but it's only a handful of us really in here every day in the weeds, right? And the rest of the company, you know, they're just continuing along their normal.
Right. They're doing the Red 5 and DoD
Yeah.
stuff. And they're elbows deep, you know, in that as well. And,
Yeah.
you know, I know compliance is extremely important, right? But operational security is the most important thing that we do
Right.
on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
You know, we live it, we breathe it, and you have to be able to prove, you know, that you live and you breathe it every day as well.
Yeah,
That's why dashboards are important.
well, yeah, and you and your soapbox. I'm going to get philosophical here just a little bit and get a little deep, but it's that passion right there that's really drove this entire process for us. You know, Infusion Points, Gary, yourself, Jason, everybody here in Infusion Points has been in the FedRAMP world so long. They've seen maybe some of the error of the way and what's really important to the customer and what's really important to, because you stated the operational security of the environment, but then also we understand compliance as well. But it's all of those things combined in that lens that's allowed us to develop what we've developed here inside Command Center. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, ATO monitoring. What do we got next? Going down to cloud management. Now, hey, this is a biggie here, and I don't think it gets enough airtime. But again, it's one thing to
This is zero trust.
yeah, zero trust, but it's one thing as well to be able to kind of see what's going on in the environment. But how about being able to actually do something within the environment? And that's exactly what this is all about, right? So allowing your engineers, Alex, I don't know if will it share your screen if you want us to pivot out, but like
It does. I believe it does.
yeah, so we can actually pivot out directly from here and go directly into the environment for management of the environment itself in the AWS console. But now that's not going to be the only thing that has the ability to be done there, right? So via API, we can simply spin up
And we can use an IAM role on that, and we can restrict what they can do, what they can't do. We have pre-built infrastructure as code, Terraform modules, you know, that can launch Kubernetes clusters, secure AI clusters as well.
Yep.
I say clusters, but AI, whatever the latest Bedrock or
Sage
whatever the
Nexus.
latest AWS certified solution is that we can do, so we can deploy those tools in a very secure environment fairly rapidly.
Yeah. So
And when I say we, our customers can do it as well.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Those that are operating within the environment have the ability to do so directly from Command Center. So very important there on the cloud management piece. Excited to see what's going to come from that as well. What do we got next, Alex? Trying to be cognizant of time.
User
All right,
management.
so the management of Command Center itself, right? And so we got the user management here where you can restrict role-based access control, what users can do and what they can't do, even within Command Center itself. This is very important as well. We'll touch on this a little bit as well. So we're not showing it right here today, but it'll be out there. Go and check it out, XBU40.com, and the public side of that. And not only does it have a
Actually,
public
I think we should show that just real briefly, so we can show the trend line.
Yeah.
Not right now, but you know, we can get there.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so but it's going to touch on the fact that there's a public side of this, and it'll show some of this data as well, but it's not going to show the in-depth metadata. It's going to show your scores, if you will, right? Which is very important for organizations or individuals out there that are looking to leverage these products, right? Or the federal government area that's looking to leverage these products. Hey, are they keeping up, right? And then for those individuals that, hey, they need to have access to the metadata and the sensitive data, but they don't necessarily need access to Command Center, they can then register and authenticate into the Trust Center as well to get that same data that you would see here, the same outputs that you would see here, kind of.
we also store background, not really background information, but we store user information. Whether we have a form that they have to fill out from a ticketing perspective, but the ability to, do they have their training up to date? Do they have their background up to date? There's probably 2 or 3 other things that we store in here as well, because this is not connected to our enterprise systems, right? Our FedRAMP systems are not connected at all to any of our systems. So we do have a bit of a manual process of going from our learning management systems into our FedRAMP systems, because they're not connected. We wanted to keep the boundaries separated so there's no confusion. Back in the early days of FedRAMP, we did not want to blend those two together.
Yeah, well, and I mean, from a security perspective and being on the SecOps side, I appreciate that as well. We tell customers all the time. Is defining that boundary and keeping that boundary tight. There is definitely some importance in that. So we hit all the modules here within Command Center. I believe we just got a help center, got some wikis and whatnot about how to leverage the product in itself. Let's go back to the dashboard as we kind of close out here. And
Well, I'd like to just real briefly to go to the to the trust center, the public side,
yeah.
the public side of the trust center.
let's bring it up. I love it. We're doing it live here.
Yeah, I should have said that earlier.
There we go. Well, hey, there we go. It works. So
And that's our trend line for this demo system, right?
Yep.
It's not an imaginary line; it is a real line.
Yep.
You can go back to each of the. You can actually see. You can actually, if you click back on the individual data, you can see the data changing because that's us actually working on the system. You can even go back. I know I saw just the other day when we only had like one of the AFRs in there.
Yeah.
So
Remember what day it was by chance?
no, it was whatever day you commented everything out and scared me.
That was multiple times.
Yeah, but hey.
Anyway, it's okay.
No, but it's important to see the fact that because even there you
Well, you
pivoted.
can see the validation. See the number of validations, 132.
Yeah, the validations are changing. That's what I was going to call out. Right, we're at 150. Now we're at 132. So you can see the environment grow, and this is our plan moving forward. Not only phase 2, right, that we're in right now, but we're assuming phase 3 is going to be coming, and we'll be going to that
FedRAMP
high level,
high. Yeah,
FedRAMP high, and so we'll continue to provide our scorecard right here, just like this. And so, hey, if you're out there, you could follow along with our journey. And,
There you go.
and see it on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, so we also have pivot over. We got that ATO monitor there as well, because why not? A quick glance of that scorecard and how everybody's doing, and how you can pivot off into that beautiful view. I love that.
And that's the individual companies that here again that what they show.
That's the public, what was put out there in the public submission.
Yep.
And then there's that trust center as well that we talked about also. So. Yeah, XBU40.com. That is live. You can go out there and check it out yourself.
There you go.
But also under service description, I might as well call this out. Under service description, you will see, go ahead and hit the drop down for me there, Alex. So you're viewing our 20X moderate, right? But then there's also, hey, y'all see that? Green
20X
check marks?
That's it.
Authorized, right? So there's the XBU40 authorized 20X low environment. And then you can pivot back to the moderate piece, and it'll give you the service description of our moderate offering. So.
Cool.
So awesome. Yeah, I mean, as we close out here and kind of talk about this, number one, Alex, hey, thanks for being with us today.
What'd you think of your first podcast?
Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
There you go. See, it's conversational.
Yeah,
it's
we're
easy.
just, we're just hanging out,
And you know what you're talking about, so that makes it pretty
It's
easy.
just like when you come back and
Have
give us
conversations.
executive support.
There you go.
Is that what you're calling that, executive support?
Yeah, I call that
okay.
executive support.
Gotcha.
I scare them half the time.
Yeah.
We're like, no, it's not done yet.
Exactly.
He said, well, I'm going to support you in getting it done by the end of business. What is that new? There's a new thing out, EOD. People are saying that I thought EOD meant end of December. No, it's actually end of day, that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, so Gary, let's, as we close out here, what is our 20X moderate path? All right, we're in phase 2, right? We know we're pushing towards that, getting ready for our full, official submission of that. Where are we pushing this, and how are we going to continue to push this? I know we've kind of already, spoiler alert, phase 3, we're going that direction as well. We're
Right,
gonna
right.
Shoot for the high.
For phase 2, we're going to get a solution together and make sure that we get submitted, and and then hopefully we get included in the top 10 solutions. We do. I believe we have a good sound system. For us, we've been fast followers before, so I don't mind being a fast follower
Right.
and watching what people do today. It's pretty exciting every day to walk up into the engineering room and watch what changes they're making today. And that's the beauty of having people here in the office in North Carolina. Is that I can walk around the corner and say, "Hey, what's going on?" and they can tell me. And it happens quite often. So it's the path for us. It's almost like it's just another day. I hate to say that, and then Alex, I don't know if you want to echo in that as well, but it definitely is. Kind of trying to build out the solution to completely meet the customer needs, and then meet all the spirit of the requirements as well.
Yeah, it's really just piggybacking on what we've been doing for years, right?
Right.
We've been doing this for, Gary, how many years have we been doing FedRAMP audits?
12 or 13,
Yeah, so
probably.
13
Right.
years of experience, and then just let's automate it, baby.
That's it.
How are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, for sure. I think, one of the things from my perspective as well, right, working at a higher level with the 20X team, and don't get me wrong, I've got some phenomenal. Shout out to Tanner Bailey that helps
Yes, sir.
drive this
Yes.
as well.
We've had him on the podcast
Yeah,
as well. So
yeah, but it's really showing that we're keeping up with it from a day to day as well, because I know that we're constantly on the gets out there and reviewing the discussion boards and hearing feedback and reviewing feedback, looking for changes that may come with some of the KSIs or RFCs, right? And when those things happen, staying on top of them, right? But bringing them then to the engineering team, allowing Gary to kind of give some input. We all get our heads together pretty much on a daily basis and say, hey, what does this mean to you? What do you think they're asking for here?
at least on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? I mean, you guys get to hear me speak for at least Mondays, Wednesdays.
Sometimes we have emergency calls.
Yeah, we do. I think we had a couple this week.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but I think that's the big thing, right? Is the fact that Infusion Points is we're a front runner in this, and we want to be a front runner in this, and we're passionate about this. Is really what it boils down to. So, hey, the future's looking exciting here with FedRAMP 20x, XBU40, and Command Center, and to me, I can't wait to see where these engineers take it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. You know, the one thing I'll say this, and I'll say this more about where I'd like to see this go in the federal government itself, not just with the CSPs, but you know, how much money do we spend, you know, on managing ATOs inside of the federal government? I bet you it's more than $1,000, right? It's probably millions, right? And how much extra security is it really adding, you know, to those systems, or the security of security posture of those systems? I would say the more that we can automate, the more we can see these nicer dashboards and be able to see that workflow, the better off we'll be, and we'll save money and be more secure at the same time. You know, so we got to take not only this concept to the CSPs, get the CSPs to bite off on it, but the agencies as well, and not just from a management of a cloud system. Because guess what? Now I got a 20x cloud, a Rev 5 cloud, and then I have all my internal ATO FISMA stuff that I got to worry about as well. You know, we got to get all those streamlined, and I know that's not the FedRAMP PMO's job to do, but I'm hoping that they can inspire others to take a great look at what they're doing at the FedRAMP PMO and really try to streamline those processes as well. I've spoken about this once or twice before, and I'll continue to speak about it as well. You know, so I've had a great time with you guys on the podcast today, and hopefully, Alex, you'll come back and join us again.
Yes,
now that the nerves are not there anymore. I always say, you know, I'm always nervous every time I do this. I'm not a great public speaker, and I don't get out in front of the public as much as I should. And what I'd like to do here is continue to do these podcasts so people can hear our thoughts and you know, see our participation in 20x. Yeah, I would like to see us, you know, participate more in the forums, but I know a lot of our engineers are heads down, you know, responding to the forums, and the requirements that are coming out of them. And they've been very helpful, and I appreciate the community that 20x is also building as well. Continue to collaborate and work together. As I always like to say, you may not find me, you know, behind the shield. I might not be hosted every single time, but you'll always find somebody here at Infusion Points behind the shield, securing your environments.
Awesome.
Peace out.